all through hard work and persistence. The time is now. No more hesitating and success will be yours. No more waiting. It's time to get it. Now.
What's going on, guys? How's it going? Sean Sells Denver coming at you today. It's a beautiful Friday here. It's about 48 degrees, my car says. I'm gonna head to the shooting range here and take a few minutes for myself this morning. Anyways, today I want to talk to you guys about what to look for when you're looking at a flip property and some of the things that you need to take into account when analyzing the deal. So I'm just going to start listing off stuff here, guys. When you're looking at a fix and flip property, when you're going to analyze a fix and flip property, when you're at the property, looking through it and determining what you're going to fix and determining, your repair costs and all that fun stuff, there's a few things you should definitely be looking for, okay? And the first thing I'll mention is all the mechanical stuff. So you always want to check the water heater, and you always want to check the furnace, okay? And if it doesn't have a furnace, it probably has a boiler. And on top of that, depending on where you live, like here in the mountains, a lot of places, like 80% of places, do not have air conditioning in the Colorado mountains because, the highs it gets up there is like 80 at the absolute max on a really hot day. So up there, they don't necessarily need air conditioning, so we wouldn't be looking for stuff like that if we were flipping up in the mountains. But since I'm down in the metro area, it gets hot here. I mean, we see temperatures of like 100 sometimes. So, AC these days, especially if it's anything above like $150,000 condo, you for sure want to be putting AC in there, unless it's some sort of special type of scenario. But I'm just talking Denver here, guys. So the mechanicals. Got to check all the mechanicals. If the furnace isn't or hasn't been replaced within 5 years and the house needs a full remodel, you need to replace the mechanicals. If you're doing a full remodel, you 99% of the time should replace all the mechanicals, because that is just like the first basics that people would expect to be finished and redone in a home is the mechanicals, the systems of the home. So the third thing, guys, is when you get into some older homes, there's a few other things you need to be checking for. Definitely you need to open the electrical panel. And I'm not an electrician. The electrician stuff is pretty crazy. So I don't know too much about it, but I do know that if there's aluminum wiring in there, it ends up costing me about $1,000 and sometimes a lot more to pigtail the wires and to correct that problem and to make buyers not sketch out about it. So if it has aluminum wiring, I mean, that's just another like $1,500 you got to add into your cost, depending on the size of the house. If it's a huge house, if it's like 3,000 square feet, and I've done a 3,000 square feet house that has aluminum wiring, that house, that's a $2,000, $2,500 check just to repair that. And it's an easy repair, but it's just expensive. So something that you need to take into account, because if it has aluminum wiring, every switch and every outlet is going to have to be pigtailed, okay, at the box as well, because aluminum wiring has a thing where when it gets old, it starts to like almost flake and it'll catch fire, is what they say. But you don't hear a whole lot about places happening like that. But Federal Pacific panels, if you open a Federal Pacific panel, got to replace it. Like Federal Pacific, an inspector sees a Federal Pacific panel, they're like, I mean, that is like it's not a huge end of the day, the house isn't going to explode or it isn't as inhabitable, but it's something that if you're flipping houses, it's got to be taken care of. For a panel swap like that, to put in a new panel, like a square D panel, we usually pay, I don't know, $2,500 to an electrician to do something like that. So not a huge expense, but it's something that you can put on the listing when you go to relist it. New electrical panel, new furnace, new hot water heater, new boiler, whatever. Windows are the next thing we need to talk about. If it has old steel windows, if you see windows that have rubber gaskets in them that are coming out, the windows need to be replaced. If the windows do not lock, they need to lock, or else it will fail inspection.